which questions to ask during the sales close. I believe that every aspect of the sales cycle has a direct impact on the success or failure of sales closure. But in a more traditional way, the actual sales closure starts the moment you start with the presentation. Now the biggest challenge is what questions should be asked in the sales closure phase before the customer finally agrees to sign on the contract. Like I have mentioned earlier, before the final holy words, "Sir, are you ready to sign on the contract?" are uttered, a salesman has to constantly take feedback from the customers. They have to ask questions to ensure that the customer moves in the correct direction towards a sales closure. Here are few examples of questions that need to be asked from the customer. Question 1. Sir, does that make sense to you? After you complete a section of the sales presentation or the explanation of a unique product feature, you must ask this question to ensure that the benefit resonates with the customer. What if the customer has not paid attention to one of the most important features of the product? It is not good for a sales closure, as a customer should be able to differentiate the product from the 1,000 other available in the market. It is not just critical to understand what they respond, but also how they respond. As a thumb rule, you should always wait for a few more seconds after the customer's response, as they might have some more to add. Question 2. Sir, how do you intend to use this feature? Every time you state a benefit of the product, you must check as to how exactly the customer intends to utilize it. The reason is simple. The customer may not have any idea as to how they can benefit from the usage of the product, and if they are unaware of it, they will not be inclined enough to buy it. If the customer responds that they don't know how to use it, you should explain it to them as to how they can leverage the feature. This strategy has dual benefit. First, you have portrayed yourself as someone who is interested to solve the customer's problems. And secondly, you have been able to project an outcome the customer will experience on the usage of the product. Question 3. Do you have any questions so far? Let me tell you, I have used this question the maximum number of times in all my sales presentations. You will be amazed at the variety of responses you will get. Also, it is one of the best questions to understand as to what the customer is thinking right now. One of the priorities in a sales presentation is to ask as many questions as possible to understand the customer. The responses will not only help you check the correctness of the course of action, but will also give indications if any improvisation is required. Question 4. Is this the type of solution that you seek? I will call it a semi-closed question because it tests the customer's willingness to make that purchase decision. Also, it is safer to use this question before you can go for the kill. I know some of you will think it to be cheesy, but in my experience, many a times it has provided me some key insights. Question 5. Is there any area of interest or concern that I haven't covered? I believe that this is the final question you must ask at the end of every sales presentation. It has multiple benefits. First, no one can make the perfect sales presentation for the occasion. So, if you have missed out an important aspect, the customer will identify the same. Secondly, if the customer says yes, that all has been covered, you can safely move on to close the sale. If they mention that there are areas yet to be touched, you can identify and address them. The more you involve the customer in the sales closure phase, the better chances you have to successfully close one. After all, it is the customer who will use the product. Therefore, the customer's concerns are of prime importance. The reason why most deals fail to materialize is because there is only one-way communication that happens. The salesman gives the pitch and the customer just listens to it. Let me ask you a question. How will you ever know if you are on the correct direction if you don't confirm with others? Therefore, get your customer to talk more and you to talk less.